Emmanuel, aka Emma the Great. It's good to have you, and it's good to talk to you again tonight. Hello friends, I want to thank you and welcome you to this very interesting edition of the Wisdom Meeting. For those that understand it very clearly, there has been growing passion in my life to ensure that individuals are mentored, individuals are coached, and individuals find very needful procedures to address life and its challenges. And today we are here again to take you through some of the basics that can be able to help you to grow as a person. My name is Emmanuel Okia, aka Emma the Great, and I am a life coach, I am a mentor, I'm a public speaker, and also the executive director of Establisher Development Africa and Anima Consults Limited. And tonight I want to be able to share with you some of the things that the world is battling with. And in this particular episode, I want to discuss with you stress in detail. Because I know that there are so many people who are struggling and battling with this vice called stress. Amidst so much that is happening in the world, a lot of people are finding it very hard to survive and keep themselves a little bit far away from depression and stress. And that is the reason as to why this kind of sessions really do matter to you. You know, like I have shared before in the different segments, in the different podcasts and different platforms that I've been involved in, that life has its own challenges. And just like anything in the world, you can never avoid challenges. You know, you can never, they always come. But of course, one of the key in my statements have always been, whereas these challenges come, we also ought to be prepared to fight these challenges. So maybe this session will help you to understand how to deal with stress, what stress brings to your life, and how best you can be able to live a person who is carefully, who is carefully willing to concentrate on procedures that can be able to help him to fight stress. You know, telling somebody life may live without challenges is like saying you are likely to live without oxygen, because the moment you breathe, the moment problems continue flocking into your life. So we need to be very much prepared to deal with some of these challenges. So this is life. Life is full of challenges, obstacles, and things that fight it. In every endeavors daily that we get into, there are things that are fighting, from work, relationships, in our businesses. There are so many problems that come into our life. But life makes a meaning when you understand the art of dealing with these challenges. And completely, that's all what life wants. That what is that gives you an optional gain to deal with the stress, to deal with the problems that we meet in our daily life. So we can never say you're not going to stop having stress, because you're going to stop having challenges, because every day your stomach is demanding, every day the world is demanding, every day your job is demanding, every day your family is demanding. But whereas there are these demands, can we prepare our minds enough, to face these demands without inflicting pains to our hearts? Because of these pains, there are so many people right now who are suffering. People are not eating, people are not sleeping, people are not happy because of the challenges that life actually comes with. So I'll be sharing with you tips in these seasons and episodes of how you can be able to deal with stress. But what is stress? Simple. Something that does not allow your thoughts to be comfortably happy. As simple as that. Something which does not give you peace of mind. That is stress. People mix the things, but it's easy to understand it in a simple way. So whenever you sit down and you're not concentrating, you're not thinking right, you don't seem to be in the right position of your thoughts, it can be interpreted as what? It can be interpreted as stress. So if whenever you have challenges or anything that does not allow you to interpret your thoughts in the right direction, then you are possibly living a moment of stress and depression. What causes stress? We know lack of jobs, lack of resources, relationship problems, losing somebody. Those are all things that can be able to cause stress. But let me teach you or share with you a few tips on how you can be able to avoid stress. Number one, learn how to say no. If you want to deal with stress, learn how to say no. You know, I know it's hard for you to understand when and how to say no. But there are some things that really do not matter at some point when you are fighting certain situations in life. So you need to know your limits and stick onto them. If you want to fight stress, know your limit and stick onto them. Of course, sometimes one of the things you need to say no is to listen to stressors or things that do not give you happiness. So it is important that in life we know what to say no. Okay, if this is what is giving you stress, can you learn to avoid? Personally, I am a very good football addict. I am a fan of football. But sometimes there are games that I know if I watch them, they are going to stress me. So if I want to have a peaceful night without being stressed, I avoid to watch those games and I go and sleep. There are friends that possibly whenever we meet them, they tell us rumors that can be able to stress us. If you do not want to stress, say no to stress and stressors that can be able to help you. So know your limits and stick to your limits. Whether they come from your parents, whether they come from your closest friends, but as long as you know that it is going to stress you, please try as much as you can to avoid them. That can be able to help you. And then number two, take control of your emotions. The problem is that sometimes there are things that we involve ourselves emotionally and yet we can again avoid them emotionally. But if you take control of your emotions, trust me, you can be able to fight this virus called stress. You need to know what is that I am going to think and consume, and what is that I should be able to ignore. We have the capacity to accept things, but at the same time we have the capacity to ignore things. Now, the problem we have is that the things that we need to ignore are the things that we consume. And then also sometimes the things that we are supposed to consume are the things that we do are the things that we ignore. So I want to encourage individuals and friends, you who is watching right now, is that you need to control your emotions. There are things that you don't need to perceive. There are things that you don't need to accept to hit your heart. Especially if it is something that you know you cannot deal away with. I always encourage friends that if you want to manage stress in life, then try as much as you can to pay attention on things that you can deal with. If you see that this is something you cannot be able to deal with, then stay away from things you cannot deal with. Friends you cannot deal with, stay away from them. Rumors you cannot deal with, stay away from them. Parties you cannot deal with, stay away from them. Companies that you cannot deal with, stay away from them. Cultivate a spirit that associates yourself with things you can deal with. Things that stress you are not worth your time. What is that you invest time on? Is it beneficial or it's not beneficial? Is this something worth being stressed of or it is not worth being stressed of? Once you are able to deal with that, then trust me, you are able to live a happy life. So, deal with your emotions. Understand clearly what are the deepest feelings in my heart that I must pay attention to. In my relationship, in my marriage, in my job, with my friends, what are some of the deepest things that I must put my emotions on? Once you understand that, trust me, you can be able to survive, you can be able to live, and you can be able to always grow a free mind person. And then Also express your feelings instead of bottling them. You know, we have so many people who are fighting with challenges silently. When they are mentors, when they are life coaches, when they are motivational speakers, when they are people who could possibly help them to realign their feelings. So if you want to deal with stress, sometimes it is very prudent and necessary for you to learn to be open, to be open and talk to people, talk to role models, talk to individuals that can be able to light up yourself, that can be able to realign your emotions, that can be able to rebuild your factors, the things internally that are stressing you. So if something or someone is bothering you, communicate your concerns. Talk to somebody, communicate, open up, go to your spiritual leader, go to your mentor, go to your father in Christ, go to your closest friend and talk to them about some of these feelings, some of these things that are bothering you. So the other way you can deal with stress is you need to communicate things that are bothering you clearly and to those that are dear and can be able to help you. If you find that it is not working, then you can go a step ahead to find or look for an alternative way of dealing with your emotions. It can be able to help you. And then the other way of dealing with stress is find a balance. In whatever situation that comes to your life, there is a moment that you can find hope, and then there is also a moment that you can find sadness. In every problem, there is happiness and sadness. You need to learn to strike a balance between what is stressing you and what can help you to be happy. All things of life, all walks of life has two sides of the coin. But if you're not able to strike a balance between what is stressing you and what is making you happy, then you can never deal with the stress. So this is what you need to do. If happiness comes from a friend A and a friend B is stressing you, then can you learn to strike a balance between a friend A and a friend B? If you felt communicating to a friend A will give you happiness, and communicating to a friend B will give you stress. So can you learn to strike a balance between how often you communicate to a friend A and how often you communicate to a friend B? Once you deal with that, then it can be able to help you. If it is work that is giving you stress, then find balance in your workplace, work-life balance. How often do you give attention to things that stress you from work? And then if it is at work where you find stress from, then what is the alternative option? If you are not at work, where can you find a free life and a happy life? Because life is about striking balances, balance between what is good and what is bad, balance between what is happy and what is sad. That is what can be able to help. So once you master the art of finding balance between your happy life and your stress life, between the things that make you happy and the things that stress you, then you can grow a very stress-free life. So in a nutshell, the things that confuse and sideline you from hope will always exist. But you need to understand the dynamics of dealing with these problems. Learn the friends you have, learn the people you have, rule away toxic situations, rule away toxic moments, rule away negative surroundings and negative environments. If you're able to deal with a negative environment, then you can deal with stress. If you're able to deal away with negative friends, then you can deal with the negativity and negative energies. If you learn to deal away with moments at work that give you negative tension, then you can be able to deal with the stress. There is nothing more important in life than you understanding what gives you a free life. There is nothing more sad in life than you accommodating things that continue stressing you. And that's the problem we have. My friend is full of stress. is full of lies, is full of depression moments, is full of things that even confuse my life, and then we keep those people. Deal away with whatever stresses you, deal away with whatever bothers you negatively, and you can completely find a balance for your life. So the other thing I said is that you need to find a balance with your life. And then the other thing is reframe your problems. Try to view stressful situations from a more positive perspective. There are things that are not actually supposed to give us stressful moments. But because we feel every problem must first get into your heart and you must be sad, that is where we find challenges. So if you want to deal with stress, also learn to reframe your problems. There are problems that we can redirect. Not every problem must consume our happiness. There are problems that we can redirect and realign, repurpose our problems. So once you reframe your problems, then you will keep yourself away from the jam of being filled with emotions that are not purposeful, emotions that are not helpful.